moving on. I guess I already did my live read for the social media, so we'll just jump right into some news.
News.
News. Yeah, news. There. That was the news song. I just made that up right now. Stuff happening in CFG. Ned streams every Tuesday, which he'll talk to you more about when I let him plug. And I've got Jackbox Party Pack this Friday. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on. Not a whole lot going on out of the ordinary. I have no doubt that come August we will do another big. Yeah, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. Come August, I'm hoping that we're gonna do another big weekend long thing. It was something that we wanted to keep doing every month, but we like much smaller, do it every Saturday, and it just hasn't happened. But the one that we did back in April or May or whenever it was we did it was a lot of fun. We raised a lot of money. We got a lot of new people watching our stuff, so we definitely want to do that more often. So hopefully in August, once my son is gone and summer has kind of wound down and we get back into some normalcy, we'll do that. But that's a conversation for another time. Game releases. We got some new games coming out this week. I didn't talk about the games last week because we did E3, and I didn't include them this week because I don't care. I barely care about the ones that are on this list right now, but we are going to talk about them. First up, we have something called The Lost Child for Switch, PS4, and Vita. That comes out on the 19th, which is Tuesday. So tomorrow from the time that we're recording this, but by the time any of you are hearing it, it'll be today. It's an RPG being put out here in the United States by NIS America. So you can imagine how weird it'll be. In fact, it's so weird in Japanese, I could not find a trailer for this in English.
Okay.
Only Japanese audio and not even any English subtitles. But if that's your kind of thing, knock yourself out. A game called, now I heard it pronounced Musinx. It's MUSYNX. It's coming out for Switch. It's basically Guitar Hero, but you're just pushing buttons on the Joy-Con and not using a guitar. So it's a rhythm game. I listened to a review of it. The guy seemed to like it. I guess if you're into rhythm games, knock yourself out. I used to be into rhythm games, and then Activision and EA, who did Rock Band, they kind of drove the genre into the ground. And when Activision decided that the Green Day edition of Guitar Hero was a good idea, that's when I knew this is done. Who like Green Day? I hate Green Day. Green Day sucks. I'm just saying it. They suck.
Hit or miss for me.
They're not any good. And if you like Green Day, you're a bad person. No,
I mean, and they're not one of my like go-to bands or anything. I do like them.
So now all of a sudden Assad's getting all defensive. Like, whoa, hold on now.
I'm just saying.
Ned, what do you think of Green Day? You like Green Day?
They're not Nickelback. I mean, come on.
Only one rung higher.
Yeah. So you don't like Green Day either, Ned?
Honestly,
this is why we're friends.
I grew up on a lot of like classic rock and country music, along with a lot of Southern gospel. So I didn't really follow a lot of the, 90s and 2000s rock and alt rock too much.
Mm-hmm.
And there aren't really any bands from that time period that I have a lot of investment in.
Me neither.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Now you want to talk about bands from the 60s and 70s, like the Grassroots, or I was trying to think of some of the Henry's Hermits, or I'm getting really obscure, aren't I?
Well, you're going way back in the time here.
I knew the Grassroots. That second one you mentioned, I didn't know who they were, but that's okay. I was a sheltered child. You know, Green Day is better than though is Africa by Toto. Oh, moving on. Vegas Party, Switch, the 21st. That's Thursday, which is weird. I feel like we had that last time. I feel like Jimmy told me that I and Josh say I feel a lot, and I'm trying to not do it anymore because it is stupid. Like, no, you don't feel like, you think. Just say you think. So I'm trying to do that. I think the last time that I ran through a list, we had a game coming out for some console on a Thursday, and I pointed out that that was really weird because games usually come out on Tuesday or Friday. Nintendo used to put their games out on Sunday, but they don't really do that anymore. So yeah, Vegas Party. I also couldn't find a trailer for this. I assume it's some casino simulator thing, but I couldn't find any real information about it at all. There is, and it might be the same game, but there is a game called Vegas Party for PS4 and Vita. Confirmed that this was that game, so I don't know anything about it. So yeah. All right, Mario Tennis Aces. That's probably the big game coming out this week. It's for Switch. It's coming out on Friday. I was a Mario Tennis fan on GameCube, I think. It was really good on GameCube. The last one that came out was really not good. I want to say it was for Wii U, and it was pretty obvious that Nintendo was just like, the Wii U's on its way out, but we need something to sell people for $50. So we slapped this dumb thing together. Please buy it. And it was really bad. This game looks really, really, really good. I'm not getting it, at least not right away. But I'm interested in it. It looks pretty stinking good. You guys like the tennis games?
I usually get beaten pretty badly in those. Well, no, not that horribly. I mean, I fare better than an actual tennis, of course, but.
Well, yeah.
Admittedly,
Physical
I haven't
exertion.
played
What are you talking
a
about?
Mario sports title since Super Mario Strikers for the GameCube.
That's a good game.
That is a good game.
I like that game. That was made by a Canadian company. I don't know who though. But yeah, that was a good game. Lumines Remastered, PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One, also on the 22nd.
Isn't it also a rhythm game? Kind of?
Ish, yeah, kind of. I've not
played
played
that
it.
in years.
It's somewhere between like a Tetris and a rhythm game.
That's right. I had one of those for my PSP. It was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, people who like it really like it. So that's good. All right, so this is the game that I was talking about earlier. New Gundam Breaker.
Yeah.
Like I said, I watched the announcement trailer for this, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool." You looks like you're like the base of a Gundam model. So just basically the sticks that make up the leg and arms and head and stuff. And you walk around what almost looks like a comic book store. At least in the announcement trailer. I don't know if every level is like this. And you're finding pieces of the Gundam and you put it together and then you fight. And of course, your pieces can fall off. And I was like, oh, this looks really cool. And then I watched a gameplay trailer and I went, that looks like garbage. So I don't know. Assad, are you interested in this at all?
I am actually very interested in this game. I was interested in the previous title for it, but it wasn't really available over here. I mean, I would have had to get like an import version in order to get it. But I'm always interested in a good Gundam game.
Mm-hmm. Good Gundam game.
Yeah.
Keyword
but I like this because like I said earlier, I build the kits. I build them, and this is basically being able to build them virtually. But then you can like cross the different kits and stuff. You don't have to like, okay, there's this type of Gundam here. You can only build it exactly to specs. No, you could like
oh, that's cool. You can mix and match.
Yeah, you can mix and match. Like it's like, man, my Gundam sucks at range battles, so you can get him like a sniper rifle or something.
Okay,
so
that's interesting.
I like that concept.
Yep. And it's got new in front of it, which kind of makes you think Nintendo might have named it, but it's not a Nintendo console.
Right.
So, yeah, there you go. Ned, why don't you take us down these movies?
All right.
And these all come out on Friday, by the way.
So the first one is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, to which my only response is, why?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
I
mean-
really, really liked Jurassic World, but I don't think it needs a sequel.
Like, at this point with this franchise, we all know the exact plot. People clone dinosaurs, build giant park around dinosaurs. Dinosaurs get loose, people die.
Yep.
Yes, that's what's so fun about it.
I think the thing that I'm most disappointed in, and again, I haven't seen the movie, obviously, I'm just going off the trailers, but like Jurassic World was just the plot of Jurassic Park had the park actually made it to being open to the public. But otherwise, this movie looks like they took Lost World's plot and the plot of Jurassic Park 3 and kind of crammed them together to make this movie. And while, again, I liked the first one because it was good, stupid fun, and they were able to kind of do more with the original's plot because obviously, special effects have gotten better and computer animation's gotten better, and so you could do a whole lot more with it. But I'm good now. I don't need another one, and I question who does. Like, who needs. Now it sounds like Assad, maybe he needed more. Are you gonna go see this?
I'm probably gonna see this one way or the other.
Mhm.
I know my family, like my nephews and stuff, they love dinosaurs, and we're gonna take them to see it. I know it's gonna happen.
Also, didn't Chris Pratt die when Thanos snapped his fingers? What's going on here?
This
How
is
is
what
he also
happened
there?
after the finger snap.
Oh, he's now on the island getting eaten by dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Oh, so like Spider-Man's there and everything too? Sweet.
he's probably on a different island or something. Who
Oh, okay.
knows?
It's
Maybe,
just,
maybe
there's
they're
just
all on their own like personal torture island or something. I don't know.
I like to imagine now that there's just this planet out there with islands full of horrible things on them
Well-
for
Well, wait.
Thanos' victims to be
If it's going to
tortured
be the
on.
Chris Pratt torture planet, wouldn't it be him having to do his role in Fantastic Four again?
Wait, Chris
Why-
Pratt's
No,
not in
sorry,
Fantastic Four. You're thinking of Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Yes, my apologies.
If
Wrong,
he
Chris.
were to have been snapped, then yes, that would probably be accurate.
There's too many sexy, muscular, blonde Chris guys out there. We need to dial it back.
But I will say, in addition to that, Chris Evans' performance in Fantastic Four, both of them was good. He was a great character.
He was the best character in both of them. So
Exactly.
Yep.
So Chris Evans,
True.
I don't think I have ever seen a bad Chris Evans movie, or at least Chris Evans' performance. Let me, tighten that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Fantastic Four was not that great of a
The
movie,
movie wasn't good. It was
but
just
he had a great performance.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Next movie.
the next movie is an indie film called Intersection. It appears to be about a father whose daughter is killed in a traffic accident, and it's basically every year around that time he goes back to the intersection, and it looks like basically his life is falling apart around him. He drinks too much, and that's all I could get from the trailer.
Yeah, a description I read of it was that it was a thriller, and then I watched the trailer and I was like, none of this says to me thriller.
Yeah, what I saw was pretty horrible acting in the trailers.
I mean, yeah, but it's an indie film, so
Well, yeah. And there's some woman involved and she's running from her ex or something, and then dude gets involved with her and the ex, and they're like, we gotta run away, and yeah. And then I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't scream thriller to me either.
Yeah, no zombies or werewolves at all. No.
Right. And when we say indie film, we mean like actual indie film, not Warner Brothers slapped their indie film label on it, but it still cost $2 billion to make. No, like an actual nobody, you will not recognize anybody or anything about the movie kind of an
No,
indie
this
film.
was published by the independent film house IndieCan. So
Yeah.
Is that where they throw
So-
all their garbage? The indie can?
Yes. Boo. All right, moving on.
The next one actually is kind of interesting to me. It's set in 1944, and it's called "The Catcher Was a Spy." It's apparently the gripping, stranger than fiction espionage thriller that brings to life the incredible true story of Moe Berg, the professional baseball player who became a World War II spy.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty interesting too. I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna like rush to theaters to go see it, but I might see it once it comes out on Blu-ray or whatever. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that guy.
These are the kind of movies that when I was talking about how subscription services like Netflix make it so that more people will see these, this is kind of what I meant. I will catch probably The Catcher Was a Spy. No pun intended. And
I
I do
see.
mean that. I didn't just
So
say
you
it.
loaded this list up to
Either
support your point.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly why. How'd you know? No, I will catch this on Netflix, or The Catcher Was a Spy is interesting enough that I might even pay the $2 for it in Redbox.
Yeah.
And the cast is pretty strong too. They've got Paul Rudd, Jeff Daniels, Paul Giamatti, Guy Pearce.
Yeah,
Dang.
Paul Rudd is Ant-Man.
I know all of those people.
Jeff Daniels is
The guy from Dumb and Dumber that wasn't Jim Carrey.
Right. And I know that most people are like, oh, he's the newsroom. No, he's the guy from Dumb and Dumber. Just don't forget that.
It's funny because like people know him for that movie, yet most of his movies were serious. Like he was in Speed. He was Keanu Reeves' buddy who he shot in the beginning of the movie.
I don't even remember that, but you're right, he was.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy movies like that, so
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway, next one.
Next on our list, we have Distorted. This one I didn't have the chance to look at ahead of time.
I mean, neither did I really.
I think I lost interest after 10 seconds.
The description says Lauren Curran and her husband Russell move into the Pinnacle, a sleek modern apartment complex with all the amenities, including a state-of-the-art security system. Lauren, who is recovering from a tragic loss, is comforted by the added security, but quickly suspects something is amiss with the apartment, much to the concern of Russell, who thinks she is imagining things. Lauren researches the company who built the Pinnacle and meets Vernon Sarsfield, a conspiracy theorist. Vernon believes the Pinnacle is not an apartment complex at all, but a corporate experiment in synthetic telepathy, and that the residents are guinea pigs in a global brainwashing plot.
I feel like I've heard this plot line before in some other movie.
I feel like this could be what one of the vaults in Fallout is used for.
Yeah, pretty much. This is Vault 92 all over again.
Yeah. All right, and then the last one.
The last one is Boundaries.
And we're definitely pushing him right now.
Yep.
Yeah. This is from Sony. The more Laura tries to set boundaries in her life, the faster those lines are crossed. Her 12-year-old son Henry is in trouble in school again. Her own penchant for adopting stray dogs and cats threatens to overwhelm their Seattle home. And her phone keeps ringing with calls she refuses to pick up from her estranged father, Jack. Maybe Jack will stick around, and for Laura, the chance to accept, forgive, and to heal will never go away.
That sounds dumb. I'd rather go to a I'd rather go to a Green Day concert than watch that.
And Patty, that's saying something.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We know these movies have an audience that they'll do well enough. If I were gonna go see anything on this list, it would either be The Catcher Was a Spy, and not even so much because I'm interested in the plot, which I mean I am, but I like Paul Rudd. I will go see things that Paul Rudd is in. And then maybe the Jurassic World.
I mean, when the plot is baseball catcher becomes a spy in World War II Europe to assassinate the chief nuclear scientist of the German Reich, then okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah, sure.
I
can go to that. And then Jurassic World would just be stupid fun. So if I were gonna, I might. I mean, I'm not gonna go see any of these, but if I were going to, those would be the two that I would pay money for. All right, Assad, games with gold. So for those of you who are like, wait, what are you talking about free games? Yeah, we talk about free games at the beginning of the month because all of them switch over. But then Microsoft does this really dumb thing where they switch the games in the middle of the month. It's stupid, but it means we have to talk about games with gold in the middle of the month. So go for it.
Okay, so the first one on the list is Smite. That's for the Xbox One. Now you're probably thinking, isn't Smite already free? Well, yes, Smite is actually free, but what this is a special content pack that they're giving you, which it's supposedly worth over $100. And what it's allowing you to do is to unlock 20 gods with their voice packs, 31 skins, announcer packs, and a global emote. So basically, you're just getting a bunch of nice things you normally buy through microtransactions for free if you're on Xbox One.
Sweet.
Which that seems like a pretty nice deal there. I mean, I think it's a little horrifying that all that is worth $100.
No.
But I would definitely, if I played that game, I would definitely take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on to the next item, we have Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia for the Xbox One. That's available from the 1st through the 30th. And I'm not sure what else to say about that. It's an Assassin's Creed game that takes place in Russia. So you got that.
And the trailer that I have in our notes, I have trailers linked. I could not find one for just Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia. I can only find one that contained all three of the Chronicles games, which is Russia, China, and I don't remember what the third one was. But this is just Russia. So
yeah. And then the last one on the 360 is Lego Indiana Jones 2, which will probably be fun. Most of these Lego games are pretty easy, fun. Well, now they're kind of frustrating at some points, but I mean, you get to build things and kind of reenact the moments from Indiana Jones. I'm not sure, is that one just like covering like the Temple of Doom?
No, I want to say it's the entire series because I watched the trailer and it mentioned something about there was even content. It said from your favorite moments in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which if you ask me just means the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is not in the game. But but yeah, so I think it's the whole series because I'm pretty sure the first Lego Indiana Jones came out before King Crystal Skull was, so you just had the three.
Okay.
Movies. And then this one is just.
But yeah,
I mean, it's not just the first game with new stuff. It's a whole new game, but you know what I mean.
That's good.
Right.
But this one you'll have available from the 16th to the 30th. So go ahead and check that one out. I forgot to mention that Smite Pack is available from the 16th of June to the 15th of July. So you do have a limited window to take advantage of that.
Right. Also to note, and I mention this every time, but I'll bring it up again. The X1 game. Well, I guess with Smite you own that because it's a content pack. But typically with X1 games, they work like PS Plus games. You only have access to them as long as your gold subscription is current. 360 games, you own that outright. So Lego Indiana Jones 2, that's your game forever. If you stop paying for gold, you still have it.
Yes.
There you go. All right, let's run through some news real quick, and then we'll play our game. Oh, before I do that, Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime is a service for Twitch users. It takes away the ads before anytime you go to a CFG or twitch.com, twitch.tv. I'm gonna get this out right. Twitch.tv/crossword gaming. And first of all, you'll usually see an ad. If you have Twitch Prime, you don't have to see that ad. You also get emotes and a little badge in the Twitch thing, in the Twitch chat, so that you stand out from the crowd. And you also get access to everything that makes Amazon Prime great, like Amazon Prime Instant Video and the free 2-day shipping. We do have a 30-day free trial for it in the description below. That does give us a little kickback, and then you can go subscribe to it for, it was $100 a year. It's gone up to $120 a year, but trust me, with everything that you get with Amazon Prime, it's worth more than that. I've been a Prime subscriber since back when it was $80 a year, and then it went up to $100, and I stuck around, and now it's up to $120. And yeah, they would have to make it significantly more expensive than it is now to get me to stop paying for it, because it's just that darn good.
Don't they keep on adding things onto that, like over time?
Oh yeah, like that was the free 2-day shipping, and then they added instant video, and then they bought Twitch and added all this Twitch Prime stuff. Oh yeah, Twitch Prime also comes with free games, which we talked about in a previous episode for the month. And yeah, they keep adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff. It's a really good deal. I highly recommend it. Go check it out. All right, news stuff. We'll just run through some of this real quick, and then we'll get to our game. So someone who was mad about Nintendo World Store in New York had some kiosk of Switches that had Smash Brothers Ultimate playable, and I'm pretty sure that's the only place you could play the game outside of actually being at E3. Well, when E3 was over, those Switch kiosks went away. So what was the mature, responsible way to respond to that? Call the Nintendo World Store and threaten to blow the place up.
Yeah.
Because that's what we need as gamers. More people thinking that we just want to kill everyone.
I mean, I know it made like a Legend of Zelda joke when we initially found out about this, but bomb threats are stupid.
I must have missed that Zelda joke. What was it?
Well, basically, I said that the guy called in and just screamed nothing but yeah,
and then he used the little bomb thing from Breath of the Wild. No. Don't do that. And I mean, so there are some reports that the FBI is investigating. Now, I would bet money that whoever this was just stupid and angry and has absolutely no intention whatsoever of blowing anything up.
Probably not.
That doesn't make it okay.
Nope.
Don't do this. It's dumb. Don't be stupid.
No. I mean, calling in a fake bomb threat, if they really want to push it, that can be charged with a terroristic threat.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, at the very least, you're filing a false police report. So you're committing at least a misdemeanor, and you're potentially committing a federal Class C felony. So
yeah, so just don't do it.
Right.
The game will be out on December 7th, and then you can play it. Unless, of course, you're in a federal penitentiary, then you can't play it because they don't have Switches in jail. I mean, they do, but they're the kind that you'll get stabbed by. So just calm down. It's going to be okay. According to the guy who is the producer of both Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake is actually in development. Now, if you have to sit down with a publication and explain to them, hey, this game that we talked about 3 years ago is in development, that's a problem. You shouldn't need to explain this to people in order for them to get. It's kind of like how Nintendo with the Wii U spent literally years trying to explain to people, hey, the Wii U is not just this tablet thing that is an upgrade for the Wii and it makes it HD. It's actually a new console. That's what we call poor communication skills. It's a PR nightmare, and you shouldn't have to do it. That means you did something wrong. If you have to sit down with a publication and explain to someone that you're actually developing a game that you announced 3 years ago, that's a problem. And I'm just going to add that to my list of proof that this game is never coming out.
I'd like to give a counterpoint.
Okay.
Fortnite. Fortnite was originally announced in 2012.
Okay.
It came out last year. It had a big press push in 2014.
Yeah.
Around E3 of that year. And then basically went dormant for 3 years.
Okay, but was anybody confused about whether or not the game was going to come out?
Actually, there was some confusion in 2017 about whether there was actually going to be a game or not, because the whole Save the World mode basically was DOA. It it was finished, it existed, but there just was not sufficient interest in it.
Right.
And so then they tack on Battle Royale, and all of a sudden it explodes, and then PUBG decides to sue them. And
Right. My counterpoint to your counterpoint to my original point is this. Square Enix has a very bad habit of doing things like this.
Uh-huh.
And now, granted, Kingdom Hearts 3 does have a release date, and all things point to it's probably actually going to come out. So while they do have, and The Last Guardian, which I also said would never see the light of day, did eventually come out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's not Square Enix. That's a different company.
Team
but
Ico, isn't it?
it's Team Ico. But the point that I'm trying to make is that most of that while there are examples of games that have these sort of development hells that they go through do eventually come out. They're very few and far between, and the few that do actually make it to store shelves generally are not received very well. Now, we have yet to see how Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to turn out. But The Last Guardian, by all accounts, was not a great game. Everybody that I know that bought it said that they were horribly disappointed in it.
Well, I think you also had, for The Last Guardian, the issue of that there was a lot of hype built around that game.
True.
And
well, Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to have the exact same problem.
Yeah, it's people are not. I think what's going to happen with the Final Fantasy VII Remake is that people are going to remember just how bad playing Final Fantasy VII was. I think a lot of people have the nostalgia for the story, which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't remember how painful some of those game systems were.
You're talking
Maybe.
about Final Fantasy VII still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure I was following. It's like you guys are.
so I'm actually upset that they're changing the systems. All the combat is going to be from Final Fantasy 13. I'm not interested in that. I want the turn-based game that the original game was.
Oh, good grief, that's even worse.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not interested in this game at all. And I think like they're going for that nostalgia push, but they're not going to get it because everybody like there's a reason. And when you take that out of it, you don't have the same game anymore. You have Final Fantasy 13 with Final Fantasy 7 story. And I'm not interested in that. And I'm not going to play it. I mean,
I feel like that would at least be better than 13.
True.
So I actually have not played any of the Final Fantasy 13 games. So
I played the first one and it was so bad.
Oh, okay. No, I played demos for the second and the third one. Not the first one, but second and third for some reason. And I didn't mind it too badly, but I'm weird. But my counterpoint to however many
points.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 15. That's another one of those games where they were saying, yeah, we're making this game. They took years on it. And it actually came out and it was well received.
Yeah, so, and it was actually supposed to be part of the 13 universe. And then Square was like, oh, no one likes that game. Let's change this.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
But Nintendo seems to have a track record of spending years developing these, AAA titles, and they end up pretty good. I mean, when
you said Nintendo, and I don't think you meant to say
Square
Nintendo.
Enix.
I was like, where is he going with this?
And man, I hate when I do that. But Square Enix, they there's precedence to this. They spent a long time in the game, and it's come out. I'm not too worried about Kingdom Hearts 3. So what I've seen from it looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say I'm not worried about Final Fantasy VII, because I feel like we should have at least seen something by now.
Yeah.
But
I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to satisfy the people who are looking for that game. I don't think it's going to do anything whatsoever to bring in new players, but I don't think it's supposed to. And I don't. The problem with the Final Fantasy VII Remake is I don't know who that game is for. The people that the gameplay is targeted at have no nostalgia for the game because they didn't grow up with it. And the people who have the nostalgia for it, they're changing the gameplay. And so those people are not interested. So it seems to me like they're just going to spend millions upon millions upon millions of dollars making this game that isn't for anyone.
I feel like they're trying to get newer people to have the same experience that we did when it came out on the PS1, and have that. But this day and age, if we got like blocky Popeye armed characters, they may not give it like a second look. You know what I mean?
I mean, you say that, but Minecraft.
But see, it's supposed to do that though.
Yeah, I
back
know.
then, that was like, oh, these are amazing graphics,
Right.
But you look back on and they're ugly.
Yeah, they are. So anyway, it's in development. We talked a little bit earlier about how Nintendo Switch Online is replacing Virtual Console in the main thing. So we'll just Reggie Fils-Aimé all but confirmed it finally. I mean, we've known for a while that Virtual Console was not coming to the Switch, but this over the past week, he finally said, like, yeah, the reason why it's not coming to Switch is because of Nintendo Switch Online. So there's that. No DLC for Octopath Traveler because, and this is a quote from the developer, it is a complete game. And you could definitely tell that he was throwing shade at games that come out. And then there's all this DLC. And, and like he was very firm in that, no, when this game comes out, there's not going to be any DLC. The new game plus is included in the game. You don't have to download it later but pay for it later. It's already there because when we ship this game, it's done. And I like that mentality. I think more developers should do that.
I miss the days when I looked at DLC as like, oh, sweet, I have the chance to get more game.
Yeah.
You remember Lost Odyssey for the 360?
Yeah.
I mean, I know what it is. I didn't play it, but yeah.
I enjoyed that game. I never got the chance to finish it because I never owned it. But that one, that was like my first real experience with DLC. And it's like, what? I could pay $5 and get more game? Heck yeah, let's do it. And I was fine with it because it's like, it felt completes me already. And this was just more stuff I could do because you know how we are with RPGs. Like, you just do everything you can and then you beat the game. But I mean, now it just doesn't have the same feeling.
Right. Now DLC comes out. It's like, oh, I can pay $5 more to get the rest of the game.
Yeah, right.
The game that would have been on the disc, 20 years ago, or not the disc, I guess the cartridge 20 years ago, it just would have already been there. That was so Nintendo's first foray into DLC was Mario Kart 8. I didn't mind that. It was $12. You got 50% more game.
Yeah.
And Mario Kart 8 already felt like a complete game.
Yeah. Smash
Brothers was a little bit different. I think they went a little crazy because sometimes a single character cost $4. And by I bought every single character for that game, and I kid you not, I guarantee you, once you factored in the $60 that I paid for the base game, that I spent $150 on that game.
I only bought 3. I bought Cloud, I bought Ryu, and I bought Roy. I think Roy was DLC, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Roy's my boy.
Even though I believe that there was just too much money, Smash Brothers Wii U felt like a complete game. I didn't feel like I was getting gypped. Breath of the Wild, I paid for that DLC because I knew I was going to play the heck of that game. And the second set of DLC, the Champions Ballad, that felt like it was just additional content that like I was getting something else. But the first pack that came out, that felt a little bit more like, this would have just been in Ocarina of Time. This would have just been in Twilight Princess.
Right.
And that was kind of crappy. And that was the first time that DLC for a Nintendo game came out that I went, I get that this game is a really big game already, but I think you tripped up on that. So, I definitely know what you mean. I don't typically buy DLC unless I just know I'm really, really, really going to enjoy the game. But most of the time, the few times that I have bought it, it's felt like this should have just been there.
I feel like most of the time the DLC I get involves fighting games.
Yeah. So you get like extra characters and stuff.
Yeah. Though I seem to be getting them in like the complete editions rather than buying the DLC outright.
Okay.
I like it better that way.
Right.
And Just Cause 3, I bought the XL version, which has most of the DLC already. The DLC I didn't get is just stupid, like gimmicky weapons and vehicles and stuff. It's like, I don't really care. So,
Ned, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because I do want to move on. But yeah, you grew up playing PC games, expansion packs. This was normal for you. But then Microsoft comes in with what they start calling downloadable content for the Xbox 360, and then Sony starts doing it, Nintendo starts doing it, and now it's kind of infected PC. How do you feel about this?
I'm still salty about horse armor.
Good old Bethesda and their horse armor. Wasn't that like $6 freaking too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Provided no in-game benefits. It just it gave you this really it was really nice looking. This really nice looking gold armor for your horses.
In Oblivion?
In Oblivion.
Yeah.
And so my thing about DLC is there is a right way to do DLC and there is a wrong way to do DLC. If you do DLC that are actual expansions to the game, like Fallout 4 actually did DLC pretty well. We had 2 major gameplay expansions with Far Harbor and Nuka World. We had there were 2 DLCs that were mostly settlement and crafting stuff, the Contraptions Workshop and the Vault Workshop. Although the Vault Workshop did add the Vault 88 quests. And then there was the Mechanist DLC, which was a small DLC, but the Mechanist quest line was a fun one. So as many problems as I thought Fallout 4 had, they did DLC pretty well.
Yeah.
The way to not do DLC is the way I see a lot of games do it. And that is where you have a separate DLC for every little thing in the game. One of my favorite games actually is one of the worst offenders about this, and that was Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Where you have a DLC for, I think, like a dozen different skins for each of the playable characters in the game. Now, granted, they're like 99 cents each, but
still.
I mean, there's a reason why when I finally did grab all those DLCs, I did it when it was on a Steam sale and was like on sale for 80% off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, DLC, in my opinion, and again, coming from the old expansion pack mentality, DLC, if it exists in a game, should substantially increase the game and make it better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When you give horse armor type DLCs in a game, you lose my trust.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think we can all agree the worst DLC is in multiplayer games, maps. Don't do that. You're gonna fragment That was Titanfall's biggest problem. When as soon as those DLCs came out, I actually bought all the DLC for the original Titanfall. And it fragmented. I never got to play any of those maps because until they started giving it away for free, when they realized what a dumb move that was, you never got to play on them. And characters and stuff, I don't mind so much. I hate weapons and items because they do affect like the game somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
But the worst thing you could possibly, and actually that was a big problem with Mario Kart 8's DLC. It was $12, so it was real easy for me to, when I would try and play Mario Kart 8 with Shelly, and she was like, "Oh, I don't have the DLC." I'd be like, "It's $12 freaking dollars. I will go buy you an eShop card for $12 and you can get it." It was cheap, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Smash Brothers handled it where, I could play with anybody that didn't have the characters and the levels, and it was fine because just me having it was enough for them to, at the very least, be able to see my character. And actually, they even set it up so that you could still play with people online on the levels, even if they didn't own it. So that was nice. They handled that pretty well. But yeah, it's giving away levels most of the time. It's just a real bad way to ensure that part of your audience can't play with another part of your audience, and it's dumb.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick, Pokemon Go is finally adding trading. I kind of agree with Jimmy that the fact that you have to be near the person that you're trading with kind of defeats the purpose.
Exactly.
Because the people that I want to trade with are the people who have access to Pokemon that I don't have access to. And if I'm standing right next to them, I probably have access to the Pokemon that they have access to.
Most likely.
That's kind of dumb. When I read why they were doing it, I guess I understand, but it only makes sense in a competitive environment. Who's playing Pokemon Go competitively? Anyone?
No.
Does that person exist? And if you do, why? Stop it.
Why do you exist?
You're doing Pokemon Go wrong. So that's goofy.
You're just competing with yourself.
I guess. I hope they change it. This doesn't make any sense. I guess I get the requiring you to spend Stardust to be doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you've basically made it so that I can only trade with people who live near me and I can go catch all the stuff that they caught. So it's stupid. And then GameStop is looking for buyout offers, which is interesting. I don't know why anyone would pay money for them. They are a failing company.
I mean, they've basically turned into... I think at this point, honestly, what GameStop ought to do is just have ThinkGeek buy them out, rebrand all the stores ThinkGeek outlets, because that's basically what they are at this point.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
Yeah, I actually get more excited about seeing like their non-gaming products now whenever I walk into one. So they have some really nice stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think there's definitely a market for a brick and mortar like geek stores.
Which I think ThinkGeek has some dotted places, but
yeah, I could see that they should do that. Amazon has some weird partnership with them. Maybe this could be a way that Amazon's been wanting to kind of expand into brick and mortar for a while. They bought Whole Foods. They have that both cool and incredibly creepy store that doesn't have any cash registers in it in Seattle.
Just grabs it straight from your phone.
Right. Maybe buying GameStop, even if it was for nothing more than to just have the storefront property. Maybe that wouldn't be a terrible idea for Amazon. So yeah, GameStop's looking to be bought out, which isn't a big surprise to anyone, I don't think. All right, my next live read. We have a merch store. There's a link in the description. It's something goofy like tchip.com/ and a whole bunch of characters that I'm not going to memorize. So go click on it. Buy a mug with my mug on it, or a hoodie with my mug on it, or a poster with my mug on it. Or eventually, I heard Jimmy did say officially that he's looking into making the Founding Dads thing a reality. He also said that he would like for me, Josh, and himself to not necessarily be the faces of CFG. I completely agree with that. So I know he's looking to expand our merchandise into more than just pictures of the three of us, especially. And I think he probably feels that way mostly because he's in particular is not a huge face of the company, and he was never intended to be. And not because we don't want his face on everything, just because that just wasn't in the cards. We brought him in for business reasons. And we love having him on camera. He just isn't on camera. It's just how things are. So yeah. But anyway, it was a good idea, and I think we're gonna look into it. So.
Unfortunately, we're probably not going to make it by Independence Day.
No, I doubt that will happen. So
well, then maybe what's the next patriotic holiday after that? Is it
Day?
We just had Memorial Day.
Yeah, Veterans Day.
Veterans Day? Try that.
Some holiday that Trump is going to claim for himself in the future. I don't know.
Right.
Friends with North Korea Day. Yeah.
I'm sure we can probably get stuff based off of like some of our streamers and like shows.
Yeah, we need to be the problem with that so far has been we'll get a show and it'll go really strong for a while, and then that person won't be able to stream anymore. The longest running thing that we've had so far has been my thing, but because it's constantly something different all the time, it's a little hard to pin it down to one thing and make it that. Nolan's stream, even though he took that break that we weren't sure he was ever going to come back from, and then Ned. Those are really the two. Unfortunately, Peaches and Stream fell apart. That was a really popular one that I was sad to see go, but you know, it was necessary due to his work schedule. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen one of these days. All right.